Hello, everyone. It's me, Miss Crystal, and welcome back to another episode of Miss Crystal's podcast program here live on YouTube and other places like Spotify and Apple. I like to take a moment to thank my co host, Safety Man, for being here. Now, I've seen many comments from people who just absolutely love Safety Man, love that he's here with us. They feel safe, just as I feel safe. They love that he has a lot to contribute. I've also seen a couple of people say, hey, why doesn't Safety Man have a name? And I saw someone suggest Brandon, which I think is a good name, but Brandon makes me think of a younger guy. And as we know, Safety Man is an older gentleman. So for now, thank you for your suggestions of a name, but I think I'm going to stick with Safety Man. I've also seen some people saying, why do you have a blow-up doll? And I get the questions. I understand why you would ask that. And I don't want to have to keep explaining to people how obsessed I was in the 90s when Safety Man came around, was born. There was a need to be safe in the 90s, like that's different than the need to be safe right now. And I can't explain it, maybe because I was younger, more attractive, and I had more people hitting on me. These days, people hit on me a little differently than they did in the 90s. In the 90s, it was very aggressive. Hey, baby, what are you doing? Want to come home with me? That kind of thing. Now it's very just straightforward. Hey, Miss Crystal, would you like to make love? That sort of thing. Already off on a tangent. That's how we do here on Miss Crystal's podcast program. And this is being recorded several days after the first episode dropped. And let me just say already, just so thankful for the people watching, people commenting. There are people that are liking it, and I want to say thank you to those people. And when I say liking, I mean physically pushing the like button. There are people that are watching it and not taking time out of their day to press the like. Some people might say, well, beggars can't be choosers, and you're right. But I'm just saying, if you're already sitting there watching it, press the like button. Because what that's going to do for me is allow me to buy more Coca-Cola, Coke Zero. It's going to allow me to buy more vacation homes. And when I say more, I don't actually have a vacation home. I'm hoping one day that I will get enough likes that I'll be able to buy a vacation home. Maybe in the Ozarks in Missouri, or where's another good place that to vacation? What's that place in Missouri where there's a lot of singers? It's called, I can't remember what it's called. I'll probably insert a graphic of it. It's near Springfield, but there's a lot of singers there. Yakov Smirnoff, the comedian, is there. Donny Osmond, I know, has done a lot of stuff there. They have a wild and wacky museum called the Ripley's Believe It or Not, where, you know, you look at it from the outside, but it's all tilted. It's like, how'd they build that like that? Branson, that's what it is. Branson, Missouri. And you might also be saying, isn't it your neighbor there? Couldn't he have told you? He doesn't interfere, okay? That's how this is. He does not interfere no matter what. When you have a reality show like Big Brother or Survivor, the people behind the scenes, they don't interrupt, even if it's a life or death situation. If I was to pass on as I'm recording this podcast, Aiden has been told, do not interfere until our hour is up. Because we're going to get some good content from my potential death. And I've had a couple people, so far just today, I was reading comments on the clip that was on Instagram. A lot of people unhappy with me because I talked about AI and what it's doing to our communities and the water. And a lot of people said, oh, you're dumb, or The reason you don't care is because you're going to die in a couple years. And while you might be right, don't type that in my comments. Go somewhere else and type that. All right. Now we got that out of the way. How was my day, you asked? It was good. How was your day? And I'll be quiet for a second so you can respond. I'll say it again. How was your day today? Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun. Did you eat anything good? That sounds delicious. Well, let's get back to me. My day was weird. I have been having problems sleeping, right? And a lot of that might be due to the fact that I drink approximately 5 to 6 liters of Coke Zero that's full of caffeine. And I'll also drink coffee. But it might also be due to menopause. A lot of people say menopause will make you stay up. Well, so I told my doctor, I said, doctor, please help me get to sleep. Give me a pill, fix my CPAP, do something. And she said, well, I'm going to refer you to a doctor that can deal with sleep. And he's called a pulmonologist. And that's a doctor that deals with lungs. And I said to her, doctor, what the hell? What the heck? What the heck does a pulmonologist have to do with sleep apnea? And it's a breathing thing. And she goes, well, pulmonologists always also deal with sleeping. So I make an appointment with this referral. I wait approximately 3 months. And in this 3 months, sleeping maybe 15 minutes, the whole 3 months. And I get there today and the lady's taking my blood pressure, which was extremely low. I'm going to have you, it was extremely low for a gal my size. Blood pressure, 5 stars out of 5. Then the lady starts typing on her computer. Okay, what brings you in here today? And I said, well, ma'am, I cannot sleep. You know, she was typing like this real fast before that. And this is her typing. And then I say, well, I can't sleep. And she goes, and I thought, we're running into a problem because she didn't turn around and look at me. I go, ma'am, am I at the right doctor? She goes, well, let me go ask the doctor. And she goes down the hallway and I can hear not only all the other patients, which is clearly a HIPAA violation. I could hear her and everybody's phone ringing in there. I could hear. She goes, hey, do you deal with sleep problems? And I thought, am I in an alternate universe? And she comes back in and I heard the whole conversation. He goes, well, I did look at her file earlier and I thought I can't do nothing for her. And she comes back in. She goes, well, he can't help you. And I thought, well, damn, do I have to pay my copay when I leave here? Because you are not offering me a service. And she goes, well, I can go cancel it. And I go, listen, just let me talk to the guy. You know, I'm here. Let me just have a convo with the man. And he comes in there and goes, you know, pulmonologists used to be into the business of helping people with their sleep. And they would train us in medical school. These days, we don't do that anymore. We deal strictly with lungs or whatever pulmonologists do. And I said, okay. And he goes, thank you for being very lighthearted and not getting mad that you came all the way up here. And I said, you know what? I consider myself lucky because I didn't have to get a ride up here. There were several elderly people in there that had to get rides to get in there. So if I was one of those people and I had to get a ride and, you know, call up maybe Mr. Elgin and say, Mr. Elgin, take me up to the doctor, then I would have been really upset. But I went up there myself. Anyway, long story short, he goes, I'm going to refer you to somebody else. And I'm thinking, make sure it's the right person because I'm not waiting another 3 months and not sleeping. So I left. Dropped my sunglasses on the ground and broke, and the sunglass lens flew way under somebody's car. And I said, well, we're done with those sunglasses. And I thought, despite this day not going as I have planned, I'm going to keep it moving. And I started driving home, went a different way that I don't normally go. And I noticed I was in the wrong lane. So I went to get over, and there's traffic over here, not over here. And a man behind me honks. He honks at me, and there's nothing I can't stand more than a person honking. Do not honk your horns, ladies and gentlemen. Don't do it unless there's an emergency. And he pulls up beside me, and I got my middle finger ready because I'm gonna flip this guy off. And I just unleashed on him, and I said, "Where you got to go, sir? Why are you in such a hurry for that 3 seconds of a minor inconvenience? Are you trying to get home to your beautiful family? Are you trying to get home to your beautiful wife? Trying to get home to your beautiful kids? Your beautiful home? Maybe you have a Labrador retriever or a black lab that you want to get home to so quickly?" I said, "Guess what? I ain't got nobody to go home to, okay? So your little honk not only caused me to be upset, it already made me feel worse than I already do." And then I said, "Have a good day." And I just let him sit with that. Because if you're a man that's because he had a nice car and it was attractive, there's no way this man is going home to a train wreck. He's going home to a loving wife, loving kids, probably bad kids, but they probably love their dad. What I'm trying to say is, don't honk at people. You don't know what they're going through. You don't know how my day was, how I was minorly inconvenienced. You don't know how your honk is going to set me off. And then as he drove away, I went like this. But I gave him something to think about. I gave him to think, this is what he should have thought about. You know what? I do have a loving family and kids and wife and Labrador retriever. And I'm not going to honk at people for accidentally getting in the wrong lane for 2 seconds. Because that's asinine. And I'm going to go home and appreciate my family instead of honking at people erroneously. Now, if I was weaving all over the road and I was drunk, then yeah, honk at me to get my attention. And speaking of drunk, had a lot of doctor's appointments this week. Went to the eye doctor yesterday, and first of all, the eye doctor now is the same as the eye doctor when I was a child. All right, you still get the puff of air. You still have to look in the thing, and he goes, "Is this better or is this better? Is this better or is this better?" And it's the most stressful thing. Can't they come up with a better system? Because I thought my new glasses that I'm getting, you're going to love them, are going to be messed up because he goes, "Number 1 or number 2?" And I go, "Bring it back to number 1. There's number 1 and here's number 2. I go, "Bring it back to number 1 because they kind of both look the same." "Well, which one's clearer, ma'am?" I said, "I don't know. They look the same." He goes, "Well, they can't look the same." "Sir, I don't know." Very upsetting at the eye doctor. Anyway, I'm trying to joke around with this guy, and he starts shining this light, and he's saying, "Follow my eye." And I go, What'd you find out? I'm drunk?" And I start laughing. Dead silence. Did it to my other. I go, "What'd you find out? Am I drunk?" Because it looks like when a cop, I don't know if you've ever been pulled over for DUI. I haven't, but I've seen it plenty of times on TV programs. They're shining the light and saying, "Follow my eyes." That's what it felt like. So I was making a joke, because I'm already uncomfortable. I'm at an eye doctor sitting in a big giant chair with all this stuff around me. Doesn't laugh at the second one. I go, "You not in the mood to laugh today?" And he goes, "Ma'am, it's not that I'm not in the mood to laugh. It's that sometimes patients don't know how to." He goes, "I just want to keep it straight. We just want to keep it straight in here." I go, "Does that mean you've had a lot of drunk people come in here and say that?" And he goes, "No." I thought, I'm not going to try to entertain these. I'm going to save all my jokes for a stage one day. Because you mark my words, Miss Crystal is going to do stand-up one day. Just noticed I had a large hair. Anyway, got off on a really far tangent, and all I was trying to tell you was how my day was. And I thank you for listening. And that will conclude that whole portion, whatever that was. And we're going to go straight to Hunk of the Week. Today's Hunk of the Week, and I struggled with finding my Hunk of the Week today because I thought, I want to go with this person or go with this person. I've had several people in the comments say, hey, how do I be the Hunk of the Week? And I haven't even thought about how to do that amongst people that watch this. But I thought, I want to pick this person because sometimes I feel like this guy does not get enough love from me and Tammy. And that's Dave Gunther. And if you don't know who Dave Gunther is, go watch Trailer Tales. He's a wonderful guy that we've known pretty much our whole lives. And sometimes we get to arguing and fighting and carrying on. And Dave kind of gets the short end of the stick a lot on the podcast and in real life. You know, we have a lot of breakfasts, brunches, dinners, activities, go to water parks and everything. And he doesn't get invited. And I feel bad for that until I'm with Dave. That's when I get annoyed all over again and think, well, this is why we don't invite him. But to be honest, Dave is a wonderful, wonderful person who's filled with love. And he does have a torso that is longer than most people's. And his hair's dry and brittle. And I don't think he can read. But that's not the point. The point is he's a wonderful person and he brings a lot of joy to my life. And I hope that me and him can be friends for many years to come. And I hope if you don't know who he is, you go find out who he is. He's wonderful. I'm not going to say, oh, I love Dave Gunther, because then he'll get excited and probably get a boing. Because he is in love with me, like many other men. Just wanted to shout you out, Dave. I don't know if you're watching this or not. I know you're busy doing God knows what. But I might even say, hey, would you come on my podcast one day? But don't come over here and expect you're going to be it's not going to be a co-star situation. It's going to be a situation where I'm in charge. You're sitting there taking direction from me, answering my questions, so on and so forth. If you know Dave Gunther, say hello in the comments. If you don't know Dave Gunther, don't say hello. Say, I love David Gunther with me. I love David Gunther. I love David Gunther. He's a good friend, but not my best friend. I'll be with him to the end. Whew, that was really stupid. Oh, Lord. Damn. That is the haunted doll that somebody sent me. That's not the figurine of the week. Let me see if I can find this letter. This came in the mail to Trailer Tales, and David gave it to me. And this is what the letter said. Hi. I just want to show you how to print it out like a damn serial killer. Hi. This doll is for Miss Crystal. It is haunted and I'm tired of it. Okay, bye. Signed, Ray Toffer. And that's this doll, when I accidentally touched that, is the haunted doll. So far, it hasn't done any haunted things. God. Except when I just knocked it and it fell back. I'm going to keep that because if anything does go down, I can, when the authorities come to say, well, why did you have us come here? And I'll show them the doll and show them the letter and they'll say, oh, we understand. It is hard doing a podcast, guys. It is not easy. And you guys are probably thinking, well, Miss Crystal, all you're doing is sitting there. Hey, I'm talking. I'm trying to keep this entertaining. And have I seen a couple of comments that have stuck with me and hurt me to my core about my podcast? Yeah, one of them, some lady just typed dumb. And I didn't let it bother me. Because I thought there ain't no way she's typing on somebody else's post, because there ain't no way that she took one look at my podcast with all these figurines behind me and thought that's dumb. She must have been looking at a Jake Paul video or I don't know, some other person, because she wasn't looking at Miss Crystal's podcast program, MCPP, and typed dumb. And then another woman said, and these are burned into my head. You know how sometimes people take, and it's cruel, sometimes people will take those hot things and on the back of a cow or a horse and go, tss. That's how these comments are in my brain. And it said, Miss Crystal, I think the figuring out the figurine segment went a little too long. And I read that 3 days ago and I haven't forgot it. Because really my joy in my life is figurines. And there's never enough. There's never too much. There's never a little too long as far as a figurine. So if you want less, how's the saying go? If you want less, I'll be more or something. If you want less, go somewhere else. Because there ain't a podcast in the entire world, and I can fact check this. There is not a podcast in the whole world that has a segment called Figuring Out the Figurine. And I don't know if I said this last time or not, but I have a friend whose name is Paige Jen. And she's the one who coined the term. Did I say that? Let me know in the comments if I already said this, because I can't remember. Paige Jen is the one that came up because I said I need help. I have my figurines. Should I call it figurine of the week? Should I call it figurine showcase? And she said, figuring out the figurine. And I thought that's good, because oftentimes when I get a figurine, I want to figure it out. And that brings me to figuring out the figurine segment. Many of you are going to recognize this right away. If you're an OG, you're going to know exactly what this is as soon as I show it. Now, this isn't the original, because the original, the tail was broken. And I'll give you a quick synopsis. A gentleman named Rodney, who I was dating, went to the casino and spent most of my Social Security in one sitting. And then when he came home and I said, where you been, Rodney? Where you been? Then he starts trying to gaslight me and manipulate me, and knocked over my curio cabinet and knocked one of my most beloved figurines off of the shelf and broke the tail. And so far, about 3 to 4 people have come to a Tammy show, and said, Miss Crystal, I got something for you. And they brought me a brand new little cat. And the tail's there. You know why is the tail's there? Because the other one, you couldn't glue the tail back. You can't glue it. It's not possible. I've got the tail and the figurine, but there's no way that you could glue it back where it would look like this. Help me figure out what this little cat's doing besides playing with two blue balls. The cat has blue balls. See the blue balls? The cat's touching the blue balls. What else is he doing? Hold on. I got to stop for a second and let y'all guys know. Okay, so I have my regular glasses seeing far away. I've got these to see close up, so I'm going to put them over there. But this, some nice woman and man gave this to me in Austin, Texas, and I thank you for that. But as I'm looking up close, you can see the little cat sitting on a mirror playing with its blue balls. And its little eyes are gemstones, probably amethyst or jade or maybe even rubies. I don't know. What's this little cat thinking? Help me figure it out. Is the cat thinking, I wish my owner would feed me? Or I wish my owner would stop saying I need a diaper? Because that's what I say to my cat. For some reason, I get these tics, and I say things over and over again. I'll say, my cat, Annie wants a diaper. And I don't know why I say that. I don't know what kind of mental illness makes you say things over and over again. If you know what mental illness that is, where you say things over and over, comment it below for the algorithm. Anyway, this is a whole incomplete cat. And I still have the other one with the tail is broken, but I don't take it out because it reminds me of Rodney, the money he spent at the casino with Tracy. That was the real dinger. He took my hard-earned Social Security and took Tracy to the casino. So anytime I see a person named Tracy, I don't care where I am. Am I at the bank? Am I at a buffet? And I see on their name, it says Tracy, I lose it. Because I'm wondering, is she the Tracy that caused this whole thing to go down and this little tail to get broken? Why do you think this little cat is on a mirror? Who has mirrors sitting on their floor like this for cats to get on and play? It doesn't make any sense. And that's what I love about figurines. Sometimes they don't make sense. The question I have right now is, that's seared into my brain is this going on too long? Should I stop this segment now or should I keep going? And I can't answer that. All I know is I go by feel. I feel, have I said enough about this segment? Have I felt enough? Because really it's about feel and how I feel in my heart. It's not how I feel in my brain. It's how I feel in my heart. Have I given this little figurine the attention and love it deserves? Because often they just sit up here and I don't ever, I don't talk to it. Some people talk to their plants. I'll go by and dust off the figurines and I'll say, hey, cutie. But I'm not giving this figurine the love it deserves. That's why we feature it. And if it goes on a little too long, maybe 30 seconds, maybe even 2 minutes too long, just know, keep in your brain this little figurine that's not getting the attention it deserves. So maybe you think, well, maybe she didn't go long enough on that segment. Maybe she needs to go a little bit longer to give that little thing the love and care it deserves. Because I love this little cat. And I don't know what its name is. But I've never seen a cat that had a purple ears, purple tail, purple paws. Never, not once in my life. And when I look into the mirror of this figurine, I see myself. I see a woman that's proud, a woman that is thinking, is this going on too long? And to that, I'll say yes. And I'll put this back on the shelf. Let me dust it off a little. It's got a little fingerprint. I'll dust this off and put it back where it belongs, where it will stay until I possibly die here. And Aiden has to let the camera run for 50 minutes as my dead body sits here decaying. And if Aiden were to say, hey, now that she's gone, let me take a few of her prized possessions, and then makes his way out to his car with any of these, we will know because we have a photographic evidence of what was behind me. And keep that in your brain, folks, because we will not be having men steal figurines. Also, a man, and that's I'll end the segment, right? Oh, thank God. Guess what, folks? New segment alert. The bell. When I ring this bell, that means we've hit 30 minutes. And the product, the promise that I've given you every week, 30 minutes. It could be longer than 30 minutes. I'm giving you 30 minutes, guaranteed every week. I'm here until I'm not. When you hear that bell, you know, thank God. Thank God we don't have to scramble. What was I talking about? Oh, another comment I saw. And you don't start leaving bad comments because I'm mentioning them, okay? These are the comments that have been seared into me. A man said, oh, I'm a man and you don't like men. Well, guess what? Never watching again. And I'm like, dude, you missed it. As the saying goes, it's not always a man. Sometimes I get my sayings mixed up. Not always a man, but it's always a man or something. It's a really good, profound statement. But he got mad at me because the first episode, I was ragging on men. Don't get mad, sir. Just tell your people, men, to stop acting up. Stop making women have to have a fake blow-up doll in their car and their home so they can feel safe. Don't come at me. Don't get upset with me. Get upset at yourself and your guy friends. And the next time your guy friend is out catcalling somebody and going, look at that. You say, hey, buddy, that ain't cool. Stop. How about that? Instead of saying you're not going to watch my podcast anymore, go to your little friends and say that. Next time you see one of your friends cheating on his wife, say, hey, buddy, that ain't cool. If you don't want to be with your wife no more, just break up with her. Don't get mad at me. I'm not the problem. Whew, I really got off on a tangent there. I've been thinking about something, and this is going to upset people. This isn't an official segment, but I'm making it official right now because it's been upsetting me. It's called Rant of the Week. And I drove by a bunch of people riding horses. And this might get everybody to stop watching this podcast. And I'm just going to say it out loud. Stop riding horses, okay? Stop riding them. Horses do not want you on their backs. They don't. And you're not going to type to me and say, horses are working animals. They love to be worked. Until you have a horse that's like Mr. Ed, and that's a very old reference, unless you have a horse that's talking to me and saying, I love people riding me, I'm standing on business right now and saying, don't ride a horse. And stop using them for horse racing. They don't want to be running around in circles over and over again with somebody going, yeah, and kicking them with their foot and hitting them with the whip. Stop riding horses. How would you like it if me or someone else came and got on your back? And I'm not talking about when you're doing back shots. I'm talking about me physically getting onto your back and riding you around and saying, giddy up. How would you like that? And I'll say, oh, he likes it. He's a working person. He likes me on his back. Okay. We'll see how you like it then. You got a 300-pound woman riding on you. Don't ride a horse no more. And that's very polarizing. Stop riding horses. And I know exactly how the comments are going to be. Do you eat meat? Do you own a pet? Do you do this? Don't come at me with your other straw man fallacies. I think that's what they're called. Quit getting on a horse, especially if you're large. If you're a woman my size or larger, do not get on a horse. Because you're going to be doing this. Meanwhile, that horse is like, Jesus Christ, lady, get off my back. And this isn't fat shaming. I don't think anybody of any size should ride a horse. You want a horse that got all that leather on their back, then they got their thing in their mouth, and you're pulling their head like, How would you like that? Again, and I'm not talking about somebody on your back doing back shots. I'm talking about on someone's back. Damn, it upsets me. And I'm allowed to have that opinion. I don't know why I feel so passionately about it. I just saw some people just out in the thing, they like it. They like to be ridden. They'll grow to love it. If you got to grow to love something, you ain't doing it. Anyway, that's the rant of the week. And I might cut this out because that might make some people so mad because people love riding horses. They've done it for centuries, they've since the beginning of time, but that don't make it right. I guess we'll listen to a couple voicemails here real quick. I did listen to a couple. I haven't screened these all, so who knows what we're about to get into. Voicemail, it's time for the voicemail.
Hi, Miss Crystal. I love you. Can I be your son? Weird question, but can I be your son? Anyways, I love you.
That was from a 479 number. Again, you didn't leave your name. I can't just go have a son that I don't even know his name. But yes, I will be your brother. But know this, I have a lot of rules. Okay, if I'm your mom, guess what? I'm not feeding you. Okay, not taking you to Six Flags or water parks. I just don't have time. I'm not going to make a Christmas dinner, Thanksgiving, or Hanukkah, or I'm not doing any of these big dinners. I just don't cook. But what I guarantee you I will do as your mother is love you unconditionally. And when I say that, there are actually conditions. I will love you unconditionally until you piss me off or if you do something stupid. You go kill somebody, guess what? You're not my son anymore. I don't even know who he is. Or you write something rude or inappropriate on the internet to somebody. If you're bullying somebody that's trying to have a good time on the internet, guess what? That's not my son. It's not my daughter. Will I let you come over and spend the night? No. But if you need a shoulder to cry on, I'll be there. If you need somebody to, sign your paper from school, maybe you go to school. You didn't sound like you still go to school, but let's say you go to school and you got a field trip and need somebody to sign your paper. I'll sign your paper. Maybe you're getting married to somebody and you need your mom to be there to whatever moms do at weddings, sit there, wear an ugly dress. Possibly. Depends on where it is. I'm not going to make promises, but I will promise you that if you think of me and you think I love my mom, just know that I'm thinking I love you too. With conditions. That's probably not the right answer. I'm not a motherly person. And a lot of people are drawn to me because they feel like I am motherly, but I'm not. Thank you for your call, though. I love you too, honey. I just like the pause. I want to listen to it again.
Hi, Miss Crystal. I love you. Can I be your son? Weird question, but can I be your son? Anyways, I love you.
It actually, listening to it again made me feel very motherly when you said, "Can I be your son?" Weird question. Can I be your son? The twice asking me really did something to my heart. Made me feel it made me feel like maybe I should have had some kids. I thought about that though. Well, we ain't doing that. All righty, let's press this one. This one says, I can't, I need my other glasses on. Let me see here. Bear with me as I put my reading. I mean, just to put two pairs of glasses on is ridiculous. And I know that. All right.
Miss Crystal, this is your therapist, Dr. White. I was touching base with you. I had mentioned at the end of your last session that the one where you went into explicit detail about what you would do to John Stamos if ever there were a sexual encounter. I had mentioned the possibility that I may have to uphold my duty to warn. But after some research and a little bit of prayer, it appears I do not need to, but may still want to. We could talk about this further at your appointment next week. Call me back.
All right. Thank you for calling. Let's see what this says.
Starting to get in your butt, twin. Starting to get in your butt, twin.
Okay, the translation that I see here says starting to get in your butt, twin. But what I heard was
starting to get in your butt, twin.
Starting to get in your butt sweat. That's from a 680 number. Thank you for calling. I don't know what you're talking about. If you're going to call and just say something weird, say it clearly. Because I don't know if you said starting to get in your butt, twin, which needs to be interpreted, or starting to get in your butt sweat. Either one doesn't make a bit of damn sense. And now I'm going to have people commenting on here. Oh, the voicemail segment went a little too long. Well, guess what? This is why. I got random people talking about butts and sweat. And of course, I could spend, 10, 15 minutes of my day screening these. But that's 10 or 15 minutes that will be taken away from my dateline, from my naps, from going, it'll be taken from going to the doctor that I shouldn't even been at today. That was 3 hours of my day. I'm starting to think this voicemail thing ain't really a good idea. Why does this thing keeps trying to call these? I don't want to call them. I just want to play this.
Hey, Miss Crystal, this is Richard, your favorite gay truck driver from Atlanta. Just wanted to...
First of all, let me stop. I did not know there was such a thing as a gay truck driver. So I'm going to be honest. I take that back. I knew it. But I didn't know I had a favorite one. I guess I do. Richard's my favorite gay truck driver.
To say congratulations and about time on this podcast. I cannot wait to take you everywhere on the road with me. Which brings me to my next topic. The last time you were here in Atlanta, I had the pleasure of meeting you at the trade show, and I am proud to say I am the owner of one of your fabulous creations, which is in the form of a bedazzled sun visor. I take it everywhere. I wear it to bingo. I wear it to church. I wear it to the truck stop. And everybody asks me, hey, where do you get this from? And I have to tell them, a wonderful, wonderful lady named Miss Crystal. It is a one of a kind. So, if you're looking for the exact same one, I hate to bear the bad news for you. But, I would love to point them in a direction, like if you have an online storefront or something to that nature. If not, let me know. I am very technologically savvy. So I could definitely help you get that started. But anyways, I'll keep it short, keep it sweet. Much love to you. So happy that you got your podcast, and I'm going to keep trucking. All right now. Bye.
And I really believe that Richard, and I kind of remember Richard buying that sun visor because he made such a big deal out of it. I really do think he's a truck driver because I could hear a lot of air in the background, like. The reason he made a big deal when he saw those, I had different sun visors, that had, and all I do, this is an easy craft. I took little gems from Hobby Lobby and just glued them on there. But he could not believe that I had used real diamonds. He kept saying, well, this is, little fake plastic gems. I said, Richard, I didn't say Richard because I didn't know his name at the time. I said, these are 100% real diamonds. These are not fake. And he said, you're selling real diamonds on a sun visor for $7? And I use this tactic when I sell to people at these trade shows. I make them think they're getting a good deal. I'll say, well, for you, I'll give it to you for $7. Well, really, they're worth maybe $2 at best. But when you use this psychological, it's manipulation, but I'm going to say tactic. When you use these tactics and you say, oh, for you today, I'll give it to you for $6.50. Oh, they think, damn, I'm really getting a deal. I'm going to buy this up. And yes, I'm standing on business, as I like to say, about my business, that those were real diamonds from Hobby Lobby. I bought them in bulk. I think the whole bag maybe cost me $12, but it had diamonds, rubies, emeralds, all kind of gems. Now, if you were to take that sun visor, Richard, to a jeweler, and he used one of those magnifying glasses that goes past the, I don't know what they're looking at. They're just looking in it. Now, he might say to you, well, this is not a diamond. And that's when you're going to tell that man at the jewelry store or jewelry place, how dare you? You just say that to him. How dare you insult Miss Crystal's business? And then the next thing I want to say about it is I do not have a storefront. And I'm going to be honest, I'm lucky I have this podcast. Because, I got mics and I'm lucky I have these things. To have an actual internet site, and this isn't the 90s where you could make a site like, I forget what we called, GeoCities. You can make a little site and paste little GIFs and, stuff like that, glitter graphics. They don't have that no more. So I got to figure out a way to get my business up and running online. But for now, if I'm going to a Tammy show, and if you're going to a Tammy show, you will see me out in the back selling my creations. Which brings me to another point. Tammy is going on tour, and I will be there at every show selling my creations. So if you're looking for a bedazzled visor with real diamonds, emeralds, rubies, and amethyst, come on back to the alley. And you're going to ask, why are you selling in the alley? Well, here's the deal, folks. And I'll just explain it real quickly. When you have a show at a theater, like Tammy does, you set up your merch, and then the theater says, hey, I know we're not even helping you or doing anything, but we're going to take 10 to 15% of your profit. So if I make $100 on my creations, some random guy from the theater is going to come over and say, hey, give me $10 or 15. And I'll say, did you make these creations? Did you bedazzle these visors? And he's going to say, no. And I say, well, what makes you think you're entitled to this? And then he's going to take it anyway because apparently it's in the contracts and all this other stuff. So there's nothing I can do. That's why I go back into the alley, because in the alley, the only person that's taking money away from me is Uncle Sam. And that's if I report it, which I'm not going to. I'll do, I made $5 tonight, Uncle Sam. He don't know how much I made. He ain't in my bank accounts. You think Uncle Sam is looking in my bank accounts to see how much I made on a Crystal Creation LLC? He's not. He doesn't have that kind of capability. You got to fit when you fill out your forms and your taxes. And I don't know if you know this or not, but you can put any damn numbers that you want. They don't know. They're not looking at receipts. You think that them people sitting up in Washington, D.C. have time to look at receipts? I mean, I know people that save every receipt for gas, business dinners, this, that, and everything. And they're writing all this. Just start putting numbers down. That's what I do. And I think that's going to end the voicemails. Thank you for calling. I'm sorry I didn't get to as many, but I go off on these tangents because one thing reminds me of another. And then Richard reminded me of this. And then the guy talking about the butt sweat just threw me for a loop. And then I have a son. I don't even know my son's name. But thank you for calling. Please keep calling. The number, of course, is 1-615-200-7193. And if that's not right, don't call it. Don't call it because it ain't the right number. That brings me to my favorite segment, Creation of the Week. Miss Crystal's Creation of the Week. And this week, she's a doozy. She's a pocketbook. She's a little baby pocketbook. And of course, I've taken 5 pieces of plastic with holes in them. Then one long piece of plastic and sewed them together to make the cutest little pocketbook. This could be for a child. This could be for an adult. This could be to carry your Bible. And why do I think Bible? Because look at the perfect size. The perfect size to carry your very own Bible to church, to Bible study, to vacation Bible school. And see how her little hands, she's praying? That's why it makes me think it's for a Bible. When I made this, though, I didn't think, oh, this is explicitly for a Bible. I thought a wallet, a coin purse, your keys. Maybe you're going to bingo. You can fit $5 in there, at least $5, and your little trinkets. Maybe you want to take your child to the zoo and you don't have a diaper bag. You can fit one nice little diaper in there. And probably a bottle. Let's say you're going to go on a vacation. This would not be ideal. I'm just going to be real with you. And I'm not trying to trick my customers. This is not a good bag for a vacation. You're not going to fit all the things you need in there. Maybe you could take this on, because I know when I go on Southwest, you get one carry-on, one personal item. And the personal item, I usually have stuff filled with snacks that I've spent $87 on in an airport gift shop. You could fit that in there. Could you fit a CPAP in there? No. You have to have a special bag for that. And when I'm in an airport, I see you people with your CPAPs. You all got the same bag. And I look at you and I say, CPAP gang. That's what I say in my head. I don't say it out loud because they go, what's wrong with that lady? This is very versatile. You could take this. Maybe you're going to a baby shower and you want to put a gift card in here for $10 at your local Target or Walmart or wherever you register your baby shower. Maybe you're going to go to a child's birthday party. You could put a card in there that says, hey, good job being 6 years old. Here's a gift card or $5 bill. Because you don't need to give children any more than $5. That's all they gave me as a child, and that's all children should get nowadays. Because what do kids need money for? They have everything they need. Got toys, food, your love, a TV, Game Boy, roller skates, a doll, coloring books. They don't need anything else. $5 is just for them to be like, oh, I got some money. Maybe you are doing the walk of shame. You've spent the night at a stranger's home. You have made passionate love with them. You did not want to put back on your underwear because, let's be honest, there's probably going to be some discharge. you put your underwear discreetly in this bag and you walk home. And no one would ever think that you have a dirty pair of underwear in this bag, because does it look like, if you saw me going down the street, would you think, man, that lady had a one night stand with a fella named Frank and now she has her soiled underpants in this thing? You're not going to think that for sure. I know I wouldn't. Let's see. What's another scenario? There's many scenarios. And that's why, and I would love to be able to say this. Go to crystalcreationsllc.com, but I can't say that. And I actually need to look that up, because if I look it up and someone buys it before this episode, I'm going to look it up tonight and I'm going to buy it. Crystal Creations LLC, and go to my storefront and buy this. But I can't say that because I don't have it. So just see you on tour. See you in an alleyway near you, and that's where you can purchase this little gem. And also, I want to say, in addition to my creations, I want to be featuring other people's creations that I see out there, because I buy a lot of stuff on Etsy or eBay or Goodwill, and I see it, and I would like to highlight other people's creations. But this is about me. This is my podcast, so I'm only do mine right now. And that would do it for that. That will do it for that creation of the week. And if I was to sell something like that, I would maybe sell it for $12 to $15, because the materials were probably 10 cents. So I'm looking at a good profit. But if I'm at a trade show and you walk up and I'm like, hey, Richard, for you today, I'll give it to you for 13. And Richard's like, holy cow, woman's giving me a deal. But just as we wind down here, just want to give you my gratitude and thanks, and appreciate you being here. I'm assuming week after week. I don't know. I don't know who's showing up. Thanks for coming every week. Thanks for liking, subscribing. What are all the things that I have to say on the internet? Like, subscribe, smash that button. Which button? I have no idea. I don't know. Just smash every button that you see on the YouTube interface. Smash it. But thanks for being here. And if you want me to be your mom, just say so. If you want to see me again, just say so. If you love to have fun, come sit with Miss Crystal where Safety Man's sitting, and we will have a good time today and tomorrow. But for now, we have to go. I don't want to say so, but we have to go. And I'll see you next time. And may you be blessed beyond your comprehension. I sure do love y'all. All right. Bye-bye. It's Miss Crystal signing off. Whoa.